Hi, my name's Jen, and before June 2022, I'd never even heard of tongue cancer. This is the second video I'm doing for Head and Neck Cancer Australia. In the first video, I talk about my experience with surgery to remove half my tongue and the radiation and chemotherapy that followed. There's a link to that video in the description. I thought I'd do this video to talk about all that's happened in a year and a half since I filmed the last one. Radiation really is the gift that just keeps on giving. So after the last video, a few months afterwards, I had a minor surgery to debulk the reconstructed side of my tongue. When the wonderful surgeons rebuilt my tongue using part of my thigh, they added extra in because the flaps tend to shrink with the radiation. Mine hadn't shrunk as much as expected, hence the debulking surgery. Since the surgery, my taste has improved, as my actual tongue is now front and centre rather than sitting at the back, but sadly my speech has deteriorated. I slur a lot more, and it takes a lot more effort to talk. Radiation has probably played a part in that too. Then about 2 months after the surgery, I developed something called lingual Raynaud's phenomenon, an extremely rare side effect of radiation. It means that when I'm stressed or I'm cold, I lose circulation in my tongue and it turns bright white. It's bizarre. If I can't get warm or relaxed quickly enough, I stop being able to talk or swallow. It's not painful, but it is really uncomfortable. It's like trying to walk after your legs fallen asleep, but this is in my tongue. Then about a month and a half after that, a dull ache started across the bottom of my jaw, where the tumour was removed, round about there. I didn't think much of it. Everything tends to ache and hurt a bit after major surgery and radiation, but I did talk to my team about it and they did an x-ray. Couldn't find anything wrong. About a month later though, I noticed that there was a bit of, what I thought was tooth sticking out the bottom of my gum where they'd removed the other teeth. Again, I talked to my team and they advised that it was actually exposed bone. Turns out this was the start of my battle with osteoradionecrosis. Osteoradionecrosis is a dreaded side effect of radiation treatment. My reading suggests it happens to around 5 to 7% of people who go through radiation for the head and neck. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's 1 in 20 people. The blood vessels through the bone are damaged by the radiation that they use to kill the cancer. The bone then can't get a blood supply and it then dies. My team started me on medication to boost the blood flow and vitamin E to help that medication work. Over the next few months I was closely monitored. Every time I saw the Max Vax team, they seemed to pull out another piece of dead bone. Then one day in about mid-November, I was getting ready for a trip away with friends who I hadn't seen since this whole cancer saga had begun. While I was packing, I noticed some swelling around my jawbone, but I didn't think much of it. The next day, when my friend came to pick me up for the road trip down to Victoria to catch up with the others, he saw the swelling around my face and now down my neck, and instead took me to hospital. The exposed bone was badly infected. I was immediately admitted to hospital. I had surgery that afternoon under local anaesthetic to clear out some of the infection and spent 3 nights in hospital on IV antibiotics. I'm probably the only person in hospital at the time with a beach towel and swimmers in their bag. After being discharged, I spent the next 3 months on antibiotics, but was admitted again in February this year with the same symptoms and underwent the same treatment. In March, the infection actually breached the skin. So basically I now have a hole that runs from my mouth to underneath my chin. I've had a seeping open infected wound there now since then. In July I started 6 weeks of hyperbaric oxygen treatment in Sydney as a last ditch attempt to clear up this infection. Being away from home was tough, but the team at the Prince of Wales was great. The hyperbaric oxygen didn't work, but I'm sure it was still worth doing, given that surgery is now inevitable. So here I am, almost 2 years out of treatment, and looking down the barrel of another major surgery. They're going to remove part of my jawbone, then replace it using bone from my leg. I'll spend time in the ICU I'll lose more teeth. I'm hoping not the front ones. I won't be stable on my feet for a few months. I'll again have another dreaded tracheostomy and a feeding tube. I won't be able to eat solids for a long time. I'll be back to soups and purees and milkshakes. I've been told it's going to make swallowing and talking a lot harder than it already is. What blows my mind the most is that they don't replace the leg bone with anything. Apparently you don't need it. To say I'm dreading this surgery is an understatement. But with most things related to head and neck cancer treatment, my choices are limited. If I don't do this, the infection will continue and my thinning jawbone will just eventually break. I'm still cancer-free and very grateful to be. I still take a lot of pleasure from life, my friends, my family, even the part-time work that I'm able to do, and even the limited amount of food that I can now eat. I appreciate the small stuff. And radiation is part of the reason that I'm still alive. So I can't even get that angry about being one of the few who get osteoradionephrosis. So there's no screening for head and neck cancer, and it's happening in young people with no contributing factors. If you have any changes around your head and neck, any ulcers, lumps or bumps that hang around for more than 3 weeks, go get checked out urgently. Catching it early makes all the difference and may mean you can avoid all of this. Thanks for watching and wish me luck.